Well, hello and welcome to the Sports Hall Chair in Niš in the south of Serbia on day one in the 2012 Women's European Championships. My name's Paul Bray. Thanks for joining us. Well, hello and welcome to the Sports Hall Chair in Niš in the south of Serbia on day one in the 2012 Women's European Handball Championships. My name's Paul Bray. Thanks for joining us for this opening match in Group B between France and Macedonia. World Championship runners-up France will be looking to get off to a winning start in a group that also features Sweden and Denmark. And with only 3 teams going through to the main round, there is little margin for error, but it is fair to say that on form, Macedonia are the underdogs in this group. Well, France arrive in Serbia fresh from winning the Möbelringer Cup in Norway, where they beat Group B rivals Denmark and Sweden, as well as host Norway, and a weekend win over Spain. But opening games always do throw up surprises, and Macedonia will be lining up with a strong team here and hoping that their home support, their fans have had to make just a short journey from the Macedonian border to the south to come and support their team here, and it certainly made a difference when they played in this very arena a year ago, or just under a year ago, in the men's European Championships, and the Macedonians had huge support. That's the lineup of matches for today. This match will be followed by an interesting all-Scandinavian clash between Sweden and Denmark, where these two teams met earlier this year when they were drawn in the same group for the Euro 2012 qualifiers. Macedonia recording a shocked 30-27 home win against the French in March, but they felt the backlash when France put the record straight 3 days later, winning the return fixture 40-20. And prior to that, these two teams had met twice at the World Championships in 2005 and 2007, with France winning on both occasions. There's confirmation then of the groupings, but we shall now have the national anthems.
National anthem of France.
And we start with France. Well, Olivier Krumholtz deep in thought there, the French coach, and now the anthem of Macedonia. Well, plenty of passion from the Macedonian fans who made the short journey. They're the referees for the match, Peter Horvat and Balázs Marton from Hungary. Well, I thought I saw a few tears in the eyes of some of the Macedonian players there with their anthem, and Here is the lineup for France. 13 players remain from the team that took silver at the World Championships last year, but goalkeeper Leno is out with a torn knee ligaments, and I'm afraid that's her out for most of the season. So Darleux will carry the loading goal. And look out also for former World Player of the Year, Pinot. But Siraba Dembele, number 17, the left winger, hugely experienced, 476 goals she scored for France. And here is Alison Pinot, we mentioned earlier, the playmaker. For Macedonia, well, 9 of their players come from Metalurg Skopje, the national champions. The experienced left-back Nikolic, who announced her international retirement in June, has been persuaded to return, and she will work alongside Baryamovska and Chervenskaya at the back. And there is Baryamovska, the 28-year-old left-back, 52 goals for her country. And Nikolic called out a retirement. Mind you, at the age of 29, that might have been a rather premature retirement, some might say. She still has so much to offer. She now plays the club handball in Russia for Zvezda Zvenigorod. Well, there is the coach for France, Olivier Krumholtz, who was described by Danish coach Jan Putlik as the best tactician in the job. And I think few would argue with that. France, who were runners-up at the World Championships in the last 2 editions. And there is Gino Strezovski, coach of the Macedonian team, the underdogs in this group, but they could certainly pull off a few surprises. We mentioned earlier that they beat France in the Euro 2012 qualifiers. It was a group of 4 with the top 2 teams coming through, playing home and away. France and Macedonia finishing ahead of Turkey and Lithuania in Group 4. But the Macedonians did manage to surprise the French with a bit of home advantage. And this is as good as it's going to get for a home advantage for the Macedonians, being so close to their border. So the teams are going to make their way onto the court very shortly. There is the French team. And going into goal for Macedonia, Tanya Andreeva, the captain of Macedonia, 34 years of age, 2 World Championships, 2 European Championships under her belt, very experienced. But it is a mixture of youth and experience for Macedonia. And there are the fans still making their way in. Buses arriving in from the Macedonian border to support their team here in Niš. So here we go then, France throw off the opening match in Group B of the Euro 2012. Playing in the all-white strip from right to left. Macedonia in the all-red strip. Start with a 6-0 defence. France playing very deep on the wings, trying to stretch the defence as Pinot looks to marshal things at the back. She's got Signati on the left, scorer 380 goals, the number 24, who's being very closely marked by Grozdanovska, 24-year-old winger, who started to move out with her. Pinot again. First shot of the game, straight down the middle, a very poor shot by Signati. Macedonia looked to bring the ball out, but France back in defence very quickly. All the way through and straight through Cleopatra Darloux's legs. And the opening goal goes to Baramovska. 1-0 to Macedonia. 1 minute played. Piejo on the line, trying to make some space. Long range shot goes straight in beyond the outreached hands of Andreeva. And there is the shot by Camille Yeglon, hugely experienced player. Played in 2 Olympics, 3 World Championships, and it's a 2nd European Championship as well. France also defending 6-0 early on here as the Macedonians start from a long way out to get a good run up and a good shot. Looking for the line. Too closely marked though, and it's a free throw for Macedonia. Good defence by France, who closed in quickly. Well, the ball is stolen. It almost looked like an attacking foul anyway. Quick pass down to Dembele. Dembele tries to go through and she commits an attacking foul, runs straight into the defender, and the ball's turned over. Dembele, who moved from Toulon to Rennes in Denmark in the summer. Well, the replay would suggest she got a little bit of help in the back from Grozdanovska with a bit of a shove, but not picked up by the Hungarian referees. And play resumes then for Macedonia with Chervenskova in the centre. At the right back position, Julia Nikolic, 29-year-old for Zvezda Zvenigorod, who scored 187 goals for Macedonia in 57 appearances. In action here, quick shot, well parried away by Darleux. In goes Signati, looks straight to the line, nicely done. Kanto Gitam 29-year-old line player from Metz. And Krumholtz on his feet. Quick pass in, the defense closing too late, unfortunately. Grozdanovska, Nikolic just didn't get there quickly enough. Little windmill feint there by Ramovska. Just couldn't quite get past the 28-year-old, the defense. And Signate gets a friendly word of warning from the referees for a bit of holding there. Well, for France, who have great aspirations here, they are one of the favourites in the tournament. They have to make a good start. That wasn't a great shot. Long pass down, almost too far. Did really well to keep the ball in play there, Dansette. And as the defence stand back, Aiglon scores her second, and France have scored 3 on the fly now to go 3-1 up. Not a particularly hard shot, but the bounce misread, unfortunately, by Andreeva. If Macedonia can just win one match here, they'd have to hope that the team they beat then lose the other encounters. Who knows? It could be really put the cat amongst the pigeons in this group. Looking to the line, that was nicely played. Free throw and a yellow card as well for Aiglon, 27-year-old who plays for Nîmes in the south of France. They've got to try and move the ball a bit quicker if they can. Macedonia at the moment, they're trying to power down the middle, but the French defence is holding, use their wings. They're so strong at the back with Baryamovska and Nikolic that they're almost trying to force it there instead of letting the ball run and putting it wide. Held on by Pinot, who ruptured her cruciate ligaments at the World Championships in the semi-final against Denmark last year. Mercifully back and on form. Oh, beautifully played, and a deft touch. Little broken wrist shot, dropped a wrist and flicked the ball over the top of the goalkeeper, Chervenkovska. (3-2). 5 minutes played in the first half. This opening match in Group B. All groups are in action here today on the opening day, and then it will alternate from then on. Well, a quick dummy and all the way round for Dembele. And Grozdanovska committed herself, came out when in fact she really had to cut the pass. Once the ball had reached Dembele, she was always going to be in trouble. Little crossover, they spread it wide again. France waiting back at the 6-meter line as the crossovers are trying to force the middle. Still, the ball isn't going wide. They've given it away, but an infringement spotted by the Hungarian referees, and it's another free throw as Strezovski looks on anxiously into the wing. Tries to go down the middle, and again, they'll be pulled up every time there. France will wait for them and block them. And again, Signate latches on. And she's playing on the edge at the moment. She's already had a friendly warning from the referee. And Signate has now picked up a yellow card. Second one of the game for the French team. Still in play, but it's gone out to the side. Throw in for Macedonia. France, who've had a great build-up to Euro 2012. Oh, off the side, but touched by the goalkeeper on the way out. Darleux. Just nudging it. Let's have a look and see. Well, did she? Or was it the defender maybe? But the referee heard something and it was enough for him to award it. They're saying France winning the Möbelringer Cup. And it's going to be another long pass. And an attacking foul. Good defense this time. Chervenkovska got back and just stood her ground and waited for the impact. And sure enough, Blandine Dansette just ran straight into her. Looking to pass to the line. It's intercepted by Aiglon, but once more it's a free throw, and the Macedonian fans try to lift the team. It's only 4-2. France arrive here on the back of wins against Sweden, Denmark, Norway and Spain, also in a friendly at the weekend down in Cannes, just before they got on the plane. Dummy to the line. That's more like it. Charging through, and that's an attacking foul. Bayramovska, the 28-year-old from Metalurg Skopje, just going in too hard again. Little crossover. Signate had to check a run. Oh, off the post. She'd beaten the goalkeeper, but not the metalwork. France back in defence very quickly as Krumholtz urges his players on. And it means that Macedonia just bring the ball up slowly. Well, 4 encounters between these teams so far. It's 3-1 to France. And the change on the line as Robertina Mechevska come in. 1 meter 83 kilos, the new line player. Played in 2 World Championships and 2 Europeans. She was at the 2008 Euro when they finished 7th. And pays dividends straight away. Mechevska. An experienced player with 69 caps to her name. And salutes the fans as she goes past. And the Macedonians start the catcalls as France go on the attack. Danset comes around all the way through and fouled in the act of shooting. Kantojitam put the block on, and Bayramovska has picked herself up a yellow card in the process as well. Doesn't seem unduly concerned about it, the 28-year-old from Skopje. Here it is again, and she's pulled back. And if anything, actually, I would say that Bayramovska wasn't the worst offender there. Penalty taken and scored by Paul Baudouin, who came off the bench for that one. She goes straight back off again. 5-3 to France. Baudouin, who after a short spell in Esbjerg in Denmark, has returned to France to play for Metz, where she's top scoring in the French league at the moment. Oh, what an effort. Well, the goalkeeper wouldn't have seen that one come. It went past 2 defenders, and it's Nikolić's opening goal. Well, barely had time to catch their breath. Then France hit back. 10 minutes played, and it's 6-4 again. The 2-goal lead as Alison Pinault finds the back of the net. End-to-end stuff here at the moment. And certainly Macedonia will be absolutely delighted that Julia Nikolić, the 29-year-old who only announced her retirement in June, agreed to come out and play again. She wanted to focus on her club handball with Zvezda Zvenigorod in Russia. She just adds that little bit of extra dimension. Best finish they've had in any competition was that's too many steps. Macedonia finished 7th in 2008 at the European Championships. It's their 4th participation in the European Championships, and a penalty's been given away in a yellow card for Czerwenczkowska. And it's going to be another penalty. Fouled in the act of shooting, very clearly the arm taken, and an easy decision for the Hungarian referees. There's a player fouled, Blandine Danset, as Tanya Andrieva is back between the sticks, the 34-year-old, and up steps once more Paul Baudouin. Blasts it this time. High fives all round for the top scorer in the French league. She scored 484 goals for France in 164 appearances. Free throw. And a bit of a complaint, understandably so, from Czerwenczkowska, who felt she was driving through, and the referee should let play go on. Oh, dispossessed, passed it under the nose. It was stolen. Pinault. And they fumbled the ball out in the end, and it's a throw in to Macedonia. Good defence by them. They stayed in line with the French. And Danset, who made the initial steal, passed to Pinault, who fluffed the lines in passing the ball back. They'd have done better to pull up or look to the left. So back come the Macedonian team. To handoff. Passive play is being warned by the referee now. They need to get a shot in soon as a foul committed against Julia Nikolic. Well, France know that they have to start well here. Defeat here would put them under real pressure in a tough group that features Sweden and Denmark. They've lost possession on passive play. Pino looks for the quick pass. She's found Mendy. Quick spin, but it was an attacking foul, and they've been a lot in this game. It is a feature now. More and more the defenders are taught to get in quick, put the block on the line or put the block in front of the attacker and just wait for that impact, and you'll get the call. And there the turnovers. 5 against Macedonia, 4 against France so far in this opening match in Group B. 4 groups of 4 teams at these European Championships, with only the top 3 from each group going through, where they'll be merged into 2 groups of 6 for the main round. Results of those teams going through are carried forwards. And after that, in the main group stage, the top 2 teams go through to the semi-final, with the winner of each group playing the runner-up in the other group. But that's all in 2 weeks' time. There's a long way to go before that yet. Macedonia on the attack, trailing, given away cheaply by the Macedonians, and Mendy away on her own. And not very much that the goalkeeper could do about that. They put Diana Naumovska in goal, and it's made absolutely no difference. And you can't blame her on her own. No defenders coming back to help, but it was a cheap giveaway. They've got to be more applied in attack. Mendy, just 22 years of age, but already 87 international. Actually plays her club handball in Montenegro for Budućnost, Champions League winners. Oh, lovely long-range pass. And Dembele scores, and it's 4 on the trot. Will there be a timeout coming, I wonder, for Macedonia, who've gone 9-4 down. Dembele's second, and it looks like they have called a timeout. And I'm not entirely surprised. Strezovski needs to marshal his players here, because they're giving the ball away at the moment. It's not set plays. France are hitting them on fast breaks and phase 2 attacks after every mistake. And they're attacking at the moment far too narrow. They're straight down the middle all the time. The wingers aren't seeing the ball. They're trying to power it in the centre. They've got to let the ball run a little bit more early on, spread the play, and then try and drive in the middle. But use the wingers as well. At the moment, not much action, I'm afraid, being seen by the wingers. Pichivska and Grozdanovska being relatively ignored by their teammates. France, who had a disappointing Olympic game, going out in the quarter-finals to eventual silver medalist Montenegro. Well, he wants deeper defence, and he wants a bit more pushing up onto Nikolic, and watching out in particular, said for Bayramovska, although she's off at the moment, but as he rightly points out, she should be back on again shortly. Georgievska then is playing at right back position, an interesting one, because in fact the Macedonians don't really have a natural left-handed right back in their team, and they've changed the playmaker. They've got Steriova, 21-year-old, who plays for Vardar Skopje, coming in, and they pull one back. A delight to the fans. Nikolic, and they did exactly what they were told not to do, the French. They sat back and gave her too much space, and she scores her second goal of the game. Goal stolen. Good spell by Macedonia. The break is on. Oh, tried to lob it. Should have blasted it. Krumholtz delighted with Cléopâtre Darleux. France have also changed, and Alexandra Lacrabert has come into the central role, number 64. She plays a club handball for Zvezda Zvenigorod, so she's a teammate of Julia Nikolic, her opponent today in Russia. Good friends on opposite sides. Wide shot by Claudine Mendy. Lots of power, no direction. There are the other players on the French bench being turned quite liberally at the moment. Dansette is off as well. France, who have their own hugely experienced veteran in Raphael Tervel, 33-year-old. Lots thought that she would call it quits after the Olympics, but she decided to have one more European Championship. Bit of holding there by France, and it's going to be a free throw for Macedonia. 16.5 minutes played then in this opening match in Group B. And one of the tournament favourites, France, runners-up at the World Championships, are leading Macedonia 9-5. Looking for the line, it's intercepted. Panicked a little bit under the pressure. Baudouin is away and shoots off the wrong foot. Couldn't quite take off. She shuffled and decided, I've got to shoot off my right foot, even though she's right-handed. But it all worked, and she scores her first goal from open play to add to 2 penalties. And she's the top scorer now in the team. 10-5, and France making no mistakes early on here. They've also got Julie Gioiorani. That's a penalty, a little push in the act of shooting, and a yellow card's going to come out as well. Pichevska is fouled, and Piejo, I don't think, can argue too much with that. It was fairly obvious, the foul by the 31-year-old from Metz. So Cléopâtre Darleux coming a long way forward for this penalty against Nikolic. Makes no difference. Nikolic gets goal number 3. Darleux picked the right side, but reacted simply too late to get across and cover that one. So a little switch and the ball's given away, but holding on Lacrabert, and she gets a free throw. She's in fact drifted back into what's her more routine position at right back. Oh, lovely play. Little pass into the line, and they'll get a free throw as Julie Gioiorani, 24 years of age, playing her 30th international for France. Seems a lot, but in fact it's her first major competition for the line player from Toulon. Meanwhile, a mistake at the back has given possession back to Macedonia. Back they come again. Nikolic in the centre. Substitutions are about to be made. They're going to switch it right back. If you look at the lineup for Macedonia, they don't list any right backs. In fact, they have 7 left backs. Come centre players. And for her club, Georgievska would also play left back or centre, but being used as a right back. It's not unusual. The French men's team, which is one of the most successful ever, have a similar situation where the likes of Fernandez or Narcisse will play at right back when in fact they are right-handed left backs. France on the attack again. Mendy all the way through, and the defence didn't pick her up. Well, we found a couple of French fans. Little swing and managed to cut back in. Georgievska. And that's Mendy's second goal of the game. But Julia Nikolic, for that little shove on Mendy, has now gone off for a 2-minute suspension, the first of the game. And so that will just add to the problems as France get a power play and switch the defence. Lacrabert coming all the way out to mark Bayramovska, the 28-year-old from Metalurg Skopje. One of the big dangers for the team, and it's forced Georgievska to come more into the centre now. And France have brought on Tervel in the picture there. He plays for Győr in Hungary, one of the most experienced players. 241 internationals for France, 370 goals. She's played in 4 World Championships and 3 Olympics, Tervel, French number 20. That's huge. There she is again, coming out early, but nearly being overtaken by Chervenkovska. There is Darleux, the French keeper, who's had to take over the number 1 spot in the team since Amandine Leno. has torn her cruciate ligaments, ironically, in the second week of her move to new club Olchim Vulcha in Romania. Darleux, though, a very good cover. And the goalkeeper too static, unfortunately. She stood back. Mendy, a little change of direction, shimmies in. There's a bit of space in defence, in fairness, and Grozdanovska a little bit flat-footed. But the goalkeeper really did just stand her ground and didn't come out. Made the angle very easy. We're past the 20-minute mark in the game then. Macedonia still short-handed for the next 30 seconds or so. And look at the shot efficiency. 80% for France, while Macedonia are on 50. Steriova dispossessed, but she gets the ball back. Steriova, one of the new players, the number 91. In the middle of the picture there. 7 caps only for Macedonia. 6 goals so far. Quick breakout. Poor pass into the line, but there was a foul anyway. I think an attacking foul, because just before she released the ball, she'd run in and to the defender. Krumholtz not happy. He always looks somewhat dishevelled. I don't know if it's one of those superstitious things that you don't shave on the day of a match. Comes and looks a bit rough. Macedonia, meanwhile, back to full strength. That shot goes straight into the goalkeeper's face. France somehow managed to keep it in rather acrobatically and bring the ball up nice and settled now as Paul Baudouin drifts off into her left wing. Tervel will go off. She's only being used in defence at the moment as Signate moves into the left back. And Gioiorani comes in onto the line. And a team timeout has been called by Olivier Krumholtz. So 12-6 it is to France at the moment. It's mostly on the fast break, but even on their set pieces, they're finding it fairly easy to break through a defence that looks really stretched out at the moment. But the Macedonians are still struggling to find some solutions with the attacks. They need to break through, but spread it wide. Spread it wide.
Assurez vos passes à rebond. Conservez de la profondeur. Commencez pas à vouloir vous amuser et à sortir des enclenchements. Il y a tout qui marche.
Well, the coach is saying it's all working at the moment. The tactics are working, so don't start breaking with the plan and just trying to have a bit of fun on your own. So he says, let's stay calm and let's play together on this one and not just try and improvise and think we've got this game done. He's quite right sometimes. You can start to break with the plan and then you take your foot off the accelerator. Before you know it, the other team catches up and you just can't get the machinery going again quick enough. And how often that's happened. So there's a recording of the timeout for Macedonia, and I'm sure that Gino Strezovski was pleased to have the timeout called by Krumholtz to use it maybe to try and get his defence sorted out as well. But France are moving the ball around well, switches of direction and are really opening up the gaps. So they've got so much power at the back. It's a real danger. And Gioiorani, 24-year-old from Toulon, brought down. Gioiorani, who played briefly for Aalborg in Denmark a couple of years back, came back to France in the end. Ball taken, but in the meantime, Pinot is fouled, and she's got a free throw for France as the clock is stopped. Some of the Danish team there making their way into the hall already, ready for their match against Sweden a little later on, watching what the opposition might look like, and they may well be impressed by France, although that said, at the moment Macedonia's defence has been gifting some of these goals and also in attack. They've given away too many fast breaks. Lacrabert, Signat into the line. Gioiorani fouled in the act of shooting. And she's won the penalty. Not much that Diana Naumovski, the 27-year-old goalkeeper from Zito Prilep, could do. Naumovski, who played in their last European Championship in 2008. And Baudouin will step up to the 7-metre line again. Naumovski commits herself very early, throws herself to the right. And Baudouin calmly puts the ball in the other way. 4th goal for her. 3 of them from the penalty line. And we have 7 minutes remaining in the first half. Problem also for the Macedonians is they have less options at the back. Bayramovska, Nikolic and Chervenkovska are their most experienced pairing at the back. But when he starts to turn the bench, he will find less options, unfortunately, less experience at least there, while Krumholtz, on the other hand, has got a bench full of international stars to call on. Oof, came off a deflection, but it's picked up comfortably by Darleux, the French keeper, who plays for Viborg in Denmark. Quick attack, Signate, not a good pass, too far ahead of her, and she knocks it out of play. And a let-off for Macedonia, who come back down again. 13-6 the scoreline, 6 minutes to go. Well, France was certainly shocked when they were beaten in the Euro qualifiers in March last year in Macedonia, 30-27. But boy, did they react when 3 days later Macedonia travelled to France and suffered a 40-20 defeat as France put the record straight. Passive play is being called against the Macedonians now. Shot is required. Baramovska, oh, lovely dummy, superb individual effort. Nikolic, in fact, the scorer. That was a class piece of work by her. Sent the defence completely the wrong way. 57% success rate with her shooting. Pino. Still the wingers are playing very wide. Come out to try and help, looking for the line. That was clever play, but Gioiorani couldn't get on the end of it, and back come Macedonia. 5 minutes remaining. Straight into the defence, it would seem, but it's given as a free throw for Julia Nikolic, the Russian-based back player. And to some extent, the replay would suggest that Pino was on the move at the point of impact. Into the line. Oh, good play. Penalty has to be. Well, good play by Mechevska, the line player from Metalurg Skopje, who had to hang on to the ball under a lot of pressure. Gioiorani has gone off, the French line player, for a 2-minute suspension for holding on that last attack. So Nikolic from 7 meters. Slams it in, no trouble there. 2 goals in quick succession for Nikolic. That brings a tally to 5. So 5 goals in it, but Macedonia on a power play for still another minute and 45 seconds. Confirmation of 3 penalties scored for France, 2 for Macedonia, and another unforced error for France there. Poor pass by Lacabert straight into the feet of Mendy. Now they've really got to try and capitalise on this, Macedonia, while they have the extra player. And Cervenkovska, number 15, looking tired, the back player who plays for Salerno in Italy. She's in the centre, 68 caps, 68 goals so far for her country. And Nikolic has now been moved off to the right side. Problem is, all the options they have at the right back position involve right-handers. It's just not ideal, but sometimes you just don't have those options. And a look at the clock to see if they've really given that away, and the answer is yes, you probably have. France will try and stretch this attack while they're short-handed. And while they are short-handed, Macedonia have switched to a 5-0-1 defence. Pino is being individually marked. She's out of the picture on the top right of the shot. Oh, straight through the hands of the keeper. And she's doing that all the time, Mendy. Backwards and forwards, she's looking for the gap. She looked the first time, it didn't work out. She took the ball out, went to go to the right, and suddenly switched back in again. And scores her 4th goal from 5 attempts, despite France being short-handed. Now they've got to spread it to the wings. They've got the extra player, and still the wingers don't see any action. On the far side, Pechevska, I think, is looking somewhat dejected. Finally, she gets the ball and scores. Well, how often we have to say it as coaches, look wide, and you give her the ball, and sure enough, she scores. Well, France are back to full strength again, but still the gap remains at 5. Quick build-up. Out comes dummy shot by Baudouin all the way through. That's saved this time, but it's a keeper's ball. Rare save by Naumovska. Tried to put it through her feet, but managed to just get to it. Into the line. It's given. She looked inside. The referee was right there, though. Pino points to the line. But the goal is given. Mladenovska. And the crowd sense that Macedonia have woken up a bit here. It's been a 4-1 exchange to them. France from 13-6 now lead 14-10. And another save by Naumovska. It's looking good all of a sudden. Nikolic into the wing. Poor pass though. Grozdanovska. She pulled in the two defenders but released the ball too wide of the defender. The winger rather, as Goyorani comes back into the frame for France on the line. Into the last minute we go before the half-time break. Lacrabert, poor pass, goes in behind. Mendy has to check herself and come back again. She gets a free throw though, 40 seconds to go. Mendy hands off Lacrabert into the wing. Saved, still in play though, and it's a throw in to France, 30 seconds remaining. Now Mosca, who hasn't touched the ball too often, makes 3 saves now in 3 minutes. She's beginning to find a range on that one. 20 seconds to go. Mendy. Change of direction, Aiglon. Beautifully done. It's not going to be given. The goal doesn't count. It's a penalty instead. They say she'd landed inside the area. Quick change, cuts back in, and she had right foot touches down before the ball leaves her hand. And quite rightly, the Hungarian referee says, I'm sorry, all I can do is give you a penalty. The clock's been stopped, 10 seconds remaining. Baudouin. First dummy shot and then puts it away, her 5th of the game for them from the penalty line. And there is the buzzer as that shot goes wayward, and it's half-time then with France leading Macedonia 15-10. Could have been bigger. Macedonia rallying a little at the end there with a 4-1 exchange to try and close the gap again, but they still have some work to do. It's a 5-goal lead for France at the break. Well, it's a result which you would say is as expected, but Nikolic and her team are doing all they can to try and spoil the French party. But France are looking relatively serene, sometimes take their eye a little bit off the ball. Nevertheless, they are still more efficient with the attacks. Look at that, 65% on their scoring for field throws, while it's only 44% success rate for shooting for Macedonia. And on the attacks, France scoring off half their attacks, while Macedonia are scoring only off 1/3. This is where the shots are coming from for France. Fast breaks 4. It's fairly well spread out. Only the right wing not getting in on the frame there. While Macedonia, well, it's mostly down the middle. And penalties, Nikolic and co doing the damage there. So half-time it is, 15-10 to France. We're going to take a short break ourselves. But join us again in just a few moments for the second half. This, incidentally, is the scoring run through the first half. We'll see you very shortly. So welcome back to the Sports Hall Chair in Niš. It's half-time here in the opening match in Group B, and France, one of the tournament favourites, are leading Macedonia 15-10. The teams are out ready to get the second half underway. And France looking very impressive in the first half, but every now and again just take their eye off the ball a little bit, and Macedonia managed to string a few shots together, led most notably, of course, by Nikolic with 5 goals so far in the first half. She's being matched in that department by Paul Baudouin of France, who's also on 5 at the moment. France have taken possession and looking very focused early on here in defence. Pino brings the ball up. It's gone across into Mendy. Mendy, who scored 4 in the first half, as the switch is made at the back. And into the frame now comes Marie-Paul Niabouyou at right back. Hasn't been on in the first half. Aiglon Lacrabert covering that position. Here she comes, number 14. Niabouyou, who plays for Toulon. 49 internationals coming into this competition. Pino. Ball's parried away by Naumovska, but it goes off to the side, and it's a throw-in. France will keep possession. Oh, that's how you do it. An absolute power shot from the former world player of the year, Alison Pino. Pino's second goal only of the build-up and playmaker, and an opportunity missed there. The defence opened up, and unfortunately Chervenkovska, the Salerno-based player, just didn't use the opportunity. She pulled up and passed the ball back out again. Because it's a lot easier when you're looking at it from not at court level. Looking to the line. Good defence, but I think it may have come off one of the French defenders' feet anyway, and they'll come back. Going to be throw-in for Macedonia. France, who changed goalkeeper incidentally during the interval. Linda Pradel has come in, the Le Havre goalkeeper, makes her first save of the game. Pradel brought in after the injury to Amandine Leno, but France fluff their lines and give possession away cheaply, and back come Macedonia again. Close call, but this is what I was saying earlier, how players more and more these days work on just taking the hit and winning the attacking foul against the other team. Grozdanovska this time running straight into her. And again a turnover, attacking foul this time. Quick pass, handed out. It was too slow coming out the ball, unfortunately. Nikolic, who's covering at the right back position now, with Bayramovska at left back and Chervenskovska in the centre. But as the match goes on, they're going to tire, and France will seize yet more opportunities, I suspect. And that's because Macedonia just don't have that strength on the bench. Hard shot, but it's well blocked by the French defence. The ball goes out to the side of Niabouyou. It wasn't Kamto Gitam, it was Niabouyou, in fact, a tall central defender who picked that one off. Ball goes behind the winger. One of the few times he did finally think about passing the ball in there. And turnovers, 15 suffered by Macedonia, 12 for France. Well, it's untidy play at the moment by the French. A couple of easy giveaways early on here. It's going to be a free throw. Nikolic tries to go through, but Mendy holds her ground and pulls her up. Coming across there, maybe hoping for an attacking foul. Didn't come off this time, but at least she's managed to stifle the attack. In on the line goes Mechevska, the 28-year-old from Metalurg Skopje, the Macedonian champions, who have 9 of their players in this national team. Three of their team, though, play abroad. Nikolic, we've mentioned, plays for Zvezda in Russia. And then Papudieva, the right winger, who we haven't seen much of, plays in Turkey for Bodrum. And Červenskoska is at Salerno. Into the side netting, but the penalty is given there. That's the foul on Maria Šteriova, who plays for Vardar Skopje. And so Pradel faces Nikolic. And saves. Huge reach, Pradel, 1.79 m. Not a great penalty, though. It wasn't in the corner. And Nikolic, lack of application, unfortunately, curses as she turns away. And an opportunity to try and close the gap is missed. And the whistle's gone. It's not a timeout. The table officials have called over the referee, and I wonder if we've had a faulty substitution. And if that is the case, it will be a 2-minute suspension for the player involved. They are pointing, it would appear, to a player. So a discussion going on between the HF officials and Sterovski, the coach of the Macedonian team. And maybe it was just a misunderstanding. The smile would suggest that he's had a let-off. Here, meanwhile, is that save on the penalty. Lifted the leg, and maybe Nikolic should have thought about bouncing it to the left as she looked at the goalkeeper next to her standing leg. Instead, she tried to blast it high, but it wasn't centred at all. No player sent off, so I take it there was a misunderstanding, maybe around a substitution. Either way, play resumes. So at the right back then, Marie-Paul Niabouyou, the 24-year-old from Toulon, getting a first taste of action at Euro 2012 here in the second half. And a good shot from her, lots of power, try to put it through the legs of the keeper, but without much luck. And Naumovska, coming good in this game, makes another save. Kamtujitam, not too much to ask of her to try and hold back 3 defenders. Little handoff. Nice flowing play by Macedonia, but in the end a foul is committed, and I think it was too many steps in the end. Quick run in by Lacrabert. Oh! Absolute cannonball. And coach not too impressed. She runs straight across. No one goes up to her. Kamtujitam holds off her player. But there in the centre of the picture, I'm afraid Chetriova is the player at fault. She stood at 6 meters, never left the line, when in fact she had to come out and block. First goal of the game for Lacrabert, and it's 17-10 to France now. 6 minutes and 50 seconds played in the second half, and still Macedonia haven't scored, and it's an attacking foul. Although was she fouled herself beforehand? Oh, quick play by Dembele. The defence in disarray, and he runs through. Kumholz looking to make some substitutions. Dembele, 3 from 3. Excellent efficiency for the 26-year-old winger who plays for Rannes in Denmark. There's the incident earlier on, and there was a glancing blow to Nikolic's face, missed by the referees. Mendy caught her, and as she pulled up, she really couldn't quite see where she was going anymore. She ran into the defender. You can't really blame her, and that was unfortunate for the Macedonians, but well, the fans sportingly don't launch off into cat calls at the referees. See the French who carry the single star on their shirt above their logo, which denotes their World Championship win in 2003. A World Championship win which only one player in this team was in the team to live through, and that was Tervel. Quick play, but it's all across court at the moment. They've got to drive in. They've got to try and make the defence move. Bit of cause and effect needed here. 18-10 the scoreline. 3 goals from France in the second half. Still Macedonia struggling to find the back of the French net in this second half. Oh, too many steps. She went to take off. really was facing the wrong way for that anyway, jumped and then had no options as the French blocked all the passes she could make. Good play by Pinault, who just managed to check herself before she ran into the defender there. It very came close to being an attacking foul. And it looks like she's taken a blow to the face because she's gone off to get some treatment, and Niabouyou comes in while Lacrabert, number 64, normally a right back, deputises in the centre for the moment. Niabouyou. Signate waiting in the centre. Here she comes, looks for the line, but in fact the line player's already been felled. Kamtojitam. They were working with 2 on the line at that point. The French, the winger, having come around to put pressure in the centre. Kamtojitam held by Ramovska, gets a free throw again. Passive play being warned, and France have to take the shot. It's not a bad shot, but it comes off the woodwork and stays out. So Mitrova has gone in now into the left wing, replacing Pechevska. So they made a change as well at the back, trying to give a break. Number 5 has come in. That's not a bad effort. Pradel deflected off to the side, and it's a throw into Macedonia. It's Ivana Shazdovski who takes the shot, who's just come on. And she's giving Chervenkovska a break. And now we've got a blow to Nikolic. She goes down. Came into contact with Kamtojitam, the French line player. Krumholtz, unperturbed bowl of that, continues to bellow instructions to the players. Let's have a look again and see. She goes to go across. Well, it caught low, it would appear. It didn't seem like a hard blow, but when you're coming in at pace, and it's Nikolic again, she's really has been in the thick of it here. Well, 10 minutes played in the second half, and it's been a 3-0 exchange for France. Still Macedonia haven't managed to break the French defence, and they still don't, as Pradel has an easy save to make off a weakening shot, and they are beginning to look tired now, the back players. Kamtojitam, it's defending inside the area, and a penalty. Mladenovska, 26-year-old line player, remonstrates, but she is standing clearly inside the area, while Kamtojitam managed to stay just outside. There are the Danish players who'll be on next. Now Mosca comes a long way forward to face Baudouin. Oh, and it's a save. The ball's coming out, and a rash move by Nikolic, who couldn't get to the ball, decided to just lunge in and give away the free throw rather than have Baudouin take a free shot. But Baudouin misses a penalty. Scored 3 from 4 now as Niabouyou comes back in again at the right back position. Still no Pinault. He took a blow earlier on, has gone off for treatment. Nice play. Simple move, but Dembele just waited her time and in the end broke through from the wing. You can see her coming behind. The defenders are focusing on the back. They're pushing up to block the back player, and no one called the winger coming around. 19-10, and France are just running away with this game now. 4th goal for Dembele. It's worth noting that really without Nikolic running through the goals, they are struggling, and that's too many steps. Nikolic scoring 5 goals in the first half for Macedonia, and then 5 other players getting 1 goal apiece. It is making the difference, and in for France comes Cathy Piégeot. Now Long-range shot comfortably picked out by Naumovska, but a foul spotted by the Hungarian referees, and it's a free throw for France. Oh, good play. Quick defense, closing the door. And Bayramovska barely waits for the referee to react. She knows she's pulling her back. Pressure taking one for the team there by the number 11, who gets a 2-minute suspension. So the 28-year-old from Skopje is off, and France have a power play and a 9-goal lead. Oh, they're just slowly but surely ramping up the lead now. 20-10. Lacrabert right in the corner. Couldn't have put it more there if you tried. The 25-year-old who plays for Zvezda, Zvenigorod, scores against her club teammates' side, Nikolic. Her second goal, both coming in the second half, and it's a 5-0 exchange in this half. 6-0 either side of the half-time whistle. And even short-handed, France trying to take advantage with the power play. And they've now got Steriova in at the back. And they've given possession away now. Nicely done. Straight down the middle. Oh, good save by Naumovska, but it's a penalty. The foul by Michevska. 28-year-old line player comes right back again, but Kamto Jitam. I would say that the foul really is Nikolic's. She pushes in the back. And no doubt for Horvat and Marton, both referees pointing emphatically to the 7-meter line. Boudouin missed the last one again. Makes no mistake this time. And Paul Boudouin scores her 6th goal of the game, 4 from the penalty line. 21-10, and Macedonia have absolutely no answer to the French defence at the moment, which is playing deep because there's no width at the moment to the Macedonian attack. I mean, right now, of course, they have the problem of the playing short-handed. That's saved by Pradel, but it goes out to the side, and it's a throw-in now to Macedonia. Pradel, who plays for Le Havre, but spent a season a couple of years ago playing for Alicante in Spain. And finally, it's taken 14.5 minutes. But Sazdowski gets Macedonia going in the second half during the power play for France, ironically. Maybe they should play short-handed more often, but they are now back to full strength again, Macedonia. So midway through the second half, France in a comfortable 10-goal lead. Looks like they've made a textbook start then to Euro 2012. That's more like it by Steriova, but it just skims the bar and goes over the top to Strezovski's frustration. But still, that's better. So much power behind it by the 1.78 m left back. And the shot efficiency, 62% for France, 37% though for Macedonia. Lacrabert looks to pass to the line, but Goyorani was standing on the line and gives possession away. Little crossover. Will she have the nerve now? And again, 2 goals by Sadowski. Pradel at fault on that one. Didn't get enough strength in her arm to block the shot. And it forces its way through. And 2 quick goals now by Macedonia. At least get them going again. And a team timeout is called by Krumholtz. He just wants to recalibrate things after they let a couple of goals in, but they still have a comfortable 9-goal lead here. Still, though, Macedonia attacking straight down the centre.
Donc on peut faire l'inverse, on peut faire des points, on peut faire des grands croisés. Ah, sur les grands croisés. Oh, sur les grands croisés, après une phase.
Well,
vous avez protégé.
You get his wrath.
La balle à l'extérieur. Parce que les
Starts
postes de
calmly.
sont très hauts. Le redoublé de
But I
passe
think
pour
he's
faire
feeling
un
that
peu de
maybe
passe.
they are just not sticking to the plan now, not forcing the attacks anymore as they lead by a big margin. And it's getting a little bit careless in there. And they've just got to stay focused. He knows, I'm sure, more than anybody else, that if you take your foot off the accelerator, it can prove always so costly, however big the lead. Strezovski. Well, he managed to resist the temptation to use a team timeout, as his team conceded 6 goals without reply and didn't score for 14.5 minutes. It was very brave of him. But now tries to see what he can do, as his team are beginning to find a little bit of rhythm. So the coach wanted more crossovers. He got exactly that straight away. Nice little handoff, and Yabuyu finishes off the job. 22-12, the 10-goal lead is restored. Simple crossover. Mendy going one way and Yabuyu coming in the other. So at the moment, Nikolic has gone into the left-back position. Steryova has now shifted into the centre. Tries a long-range shot. This time it's a comfortable save for Pradel. So the next game coming up in this group will be Sweden against Denmark. Should be an intriguing encounter. Denmark, in fact, beat Sweden just 9 days ago in the Möbelringer Cup. But that said, so close to the Euros, how much were the coaches hiding from each other in those games? Another good save, meanwhile, here by Naumoska, 27-year-old goalkeeper who plays for Zito Prilep. So they've switched around a little bit, and we've got a free throw. Nikolic. And now Steryova is trying the right back position, as we see that action again. Nikolic. This time it goes wide by Sadovski, who's buoyed by her 2 earlier efforts. Oh, and another good save by Naumoska off Claudine Mendy. Something for the Macedonian fans who've made the short journey from the border to the south of Niš to cheer at least here. As you can see on the far side, it doesn't matter who they put there. Steryova now is a right-hander. It's always awkward for her to, if they're going to do crossovers, she's got to come in and then try and turn right to get a shooting angle in. And France have got a suspension for Baudouin. She looks bemused by the decision, says her shirt was being held. So off goes Baudouin. And power play now for Macedonia. Maybe they can capitalise on this. Maybe the coach will want to get his starting lineup back on again. Bayramovska, Chervenkovska. Not for the moment, at least. He's just moved Nikolic into the centre. Sasdowska, number 5, has shifted into the left back. She's played all 3 positions now across the back here in the second half. Looking for the line. Good defence. Goriorani, the final defender. Good defence by Pino, stops the attack from moving. Steryova. Nikolic looks to the line. Oh, brilliant play and a good save by Pradel. And the ball stolen right through the hands of, I think it was Mechevska, who tried to pick up the rebound. And no luck there. Well, Pradel had a good second half here. France still have just under a minute remaining, and they've now brought on Raphael Tervel into the central role. Ah, where was the defence? And as she's so often done, Dembele is loitering at the back, comes in and the whole defence have moved up onto the back players. It is always tempting to do that. Problem with France is they're so strong at the back, you fear them, you go up and you pay the price. 10 minutes remaining in the game then. France cruising here in Niš, in the south of Serbia. It's a European Championship that should have been hosted by the Netherlands, but because of the economic climate they had to back out in the end. And with Serbia having hosted the men's European Championships earlier this year, they were asked to basically put together a carbon copy for the women, which and they did a very good job last year, and they've delivered. Nearly stolen, unlucky for Macedonia. The shot comes off the bar, and even luck won't go their way. So Bayramovska, number 11, has come back in at the left-back position. She's had a rest, and she's going to have to play out the next 10 minutes, I'm sure. Nikolic, passive play is being worn. In the end, Nikolic takes the shot. Gojorani steps into the area and catches the ball in the end, and it's a free throw for Macedonia. France back to full strength, I should say. Looking for the line. Free throw again. Well, it's been a commanding performance by France, and that said, Macedonia haven't really challenged them in all areas. They've tried hard down the middle, but that's where the French defence has been holding well. Gojorani. Got to watch herself. She's already had 1 2-minute suspension in the game. Basically brings down the line player, Mladenovska. Let's go the last minute, but I'm sure the referees know what's going on. And I'm afraid for the Macedonian fans who made the journey from the south, it's been nothing to cheer. Oh! Twice off the bar. Ball goes out to the side, and Baudouin seems happy with that. So Tervel into the centre, France's most experienced player with 241 internationals. She played in Norway for Larvik, played in Spain for Ichaco, and is now with Djur in Hungary. Looked like she was going to look for the line, and instead Bruno, who's just come on, a relative newcomer to the French team, puts the ball away. Not a very hard shot, but just misread by Naumovska. Audrey Bruno, who's played in the World Championships last year as a replacement for Signati when she was injured, but wasn't picked for the Olympic Games. The France have stuck with much of their Olympic squad. Another hard shot, but at a comfortable height for Pradel to knock the ball away. And Kanto Gitam getting her break on the bench as well. And the shot efficiency heading south, I'm afraid, for Macedonia, back down to 32%. France on 62. They were 80%, if you remember, early on in the first half. Beautifully done by Baudouin. 4 goals without reply. And now Mosca, 1.73 m, not especially tall for a goalkeeper, but susceptible to the lob if she comes forwards. So we have 6.5 minutes remaining. Basically, France went 6-0 in the second half. Macedonia then rallied and scored 2 goals to Sadovski. And since then, France has scored another 4. So a 10-2 exchange here in the second half as a team timeout is called by Gino Strezovski, the Macedonian coach. Calm as ever. He knows his team are the underdogs. They just need to get a good start and have a run at the team. Unfortunately, it's not going to be France. And they still have 2 chances against Sweden and Denmark to upset the odds and book their ticket in the main round. But Sweden and Denmark, who had lackluster Olympics, may not be in any mood to give away their games either. But it's a lack of dimension, I'm afraid, for the Macedonians, where all their shots are effectively coming down the centre. Nikolic, Bayramovska, Chernikovska. Really doing all the damage. And then we've had a couple of goals from Sadowski. It's all at the back. There's not much play wide. There's one line shot. Whereas France have had a good spread of goals around the team. Olivier Krumholtz seems happy enough. He said we have to be very precise. We have to really make it count and be precise in what we're delivering. Well, he's making the point as well that if it ever did come down to goal difference for any reason, if France started to go off the boil, then make sure you get that big goal difference. And maybe just a reminder that they mustn't be taking their eye off the ball now and slowing down. Big shot off the bar by Bruno, the 20-year-old from Ici Paris. And it's interesting, you have to assume that Chervenkovska has picked up a knock of some kind because she hasn't been on for a long time. Bayramovska appeared to just get a break and go back on again while Steryova covered for her. Whether that said, Sadowski is bringing a little bit of extra dimension still. And another misread bounce for Pradel. She is prone to that slightly. Only the third goal in the second half. Nikolic delivers. In fact, it went underneath her foot, bizarrely. Nikolic with goal number 6, but only her first here in the second half as we enter the last 5 minutes of this Group B game. Tervel, Lacrabert coming in. Tervel has gone very wide, cuts back inside again. Lacrabert tried to link up with the wing. Oh! Well, a misunderstanding between the two end defenders. The ball was loose. They both seemed to look at each other as if to say, you pick it up. And Baudouin just helped herself. Goal number 8. And what a start she's made. 4 of them coming from the 7-meter line. Four and a half minutes remaining, and Macedonia on the rack here, I'm afraid, against the world vice-champions France. Bayramovska, Nikolic tries a long-range effort. It's a comfortable height, but the Macedonians are there to pick up the loose ball. Pinot picks up the ball, but she's holding it as the line players tried to shoot, and a wry smile from the French playmaker, the 23-year-old who plays for Olkim Vulca in Romania, where she moved this year. She comes across, you'll see it here. There's the loose ball. She's inside the area. She can't argue with that. She knows it. So Despodovska, the left back, looking like she might come on as well for a bit of a crack here late on, but get some Euro experience. Well, the answer is that Chervenkovska is obviously not injured. She's come on to take the penalty. Scores her second goal of the game. First from the penalty line, and it's 26-14 with about 3.5 minutes or so remaining. Goyorani is free on the line, keeps on putting a hand up for it. Lacrabert. And again, not a particularly hard shot. Bruno gets her second. Is it? Lacrabert, in fact, I do beg your pardon. Gets a third. Well, the game has slowed down, I'm afraid. The Macedonians are looking tired. The French are hitting them periodically with phase 2 attacks. And this game, I'm afraid, slipped away from Macedonia a long time ago. Into the wing. That's nice play. Still there when they want it. When they do want to give it to the wing. And it's Mechevska who scores. She's actually a line player who'd gone wide. Did well because she's right-handed, and it's a difficult shot from the right wing. They do seem to have a problem with just not having enough left-handed players in their squad. 2.5 minutes remaining as that shot goes wide of Namoska's posts. And into the fray comes for the first time Despodovska, the 20-year-old who plays for Metalurg Skopje, being used in defence, substituted in and out. She goes off now, giving Nikolic a break in defensive duties. France respond by putting Lacrabert out initially onto Nikolic, but she seems to have gone back as a floating front defender, and now she does move up onto Nikolic again. And Kamto Jitan there sitting next to Darleux, the goalkeeper, on the bench. Smiles all round, job done. There's always that little pitfall of fluffing your lines in the opening game, but France have been masterful here today. And I'm afraid Macedonia just haven't quite challenged them enough as Lacrabert comes out to pick out Nikolic. Looking for the line, the ball's picked out. Surely Bruno ran through the area. Play on, say the referees. And Goyorani scores on the break. Goes up and then drops the ball underneath, just letting it go before she lands inside the area. First goal for her. So still they stick with Sazdowski at the right back position. Nikolic in the centre, looks to the line, but it's easily intercepted. Seemed to come off the legs of the French defender. Instead, the call has gone against, well, two unlucky calls, I think, for Macedonia, but it is difficult in a melee of players. But I would have been tempted to give a free throw to the Macedonians for what looked like a ball off the foot. Anything below knee height, and it's a foul. So France inside the last minute now. Quick turn, she'll come back again for a free throw. Bruno, Tervel, Lacrabert now into the line. Goyorani, two in quick succession for the player who's playing her first major competition. 45 seconds or less, 20 seconds to go, I beg your pardon. And the agony will be over for Macedonia. They'll have to regroup in a couple of days' time. They'll be up against Sweden while France take on Denmark next on Thursday. Nikolic, who's worked so hard, 6 goals. That's nice. Sadowski just on the buzzer. Well, the only other player really to shine for Macedonia, coming on in the second half and scoring 3 of their 6 goals. But I'm afraid 14.5 minutes without any goals at the beginning of the second half was a killer for Macedonia. France scored 6 and were home and dry before the midpoint had been reached in the second half. Paul Baudouin top scored for them with 8 goals, 4 of them from the penalty line. Few French supporters, but they're delighted. Their team's got off to a winning start. It's just what they needed. And I'm afraid no big shock on day one here in Group B. Next up, it'll be Denmark against Sweden. And we're going to have the most valuable player for each team. There's confirmation, and France 29, Macedonia 16, a 13-goal win for France. If it does come down to goal difference, that will be very helpful. Thank you very much indeed. So for France, Claudine Mendy picks up the most valuable player. Mendy defended really well, scored 4 goals. Gets her award from Mr. Rocha, from the Executive Council of the European Handball Federation. Here are the statistics then. 32% success rate for Macedonia in this game only. 60% for France. It went a little bit off the boil late on, but 6 fast breaks. Every mistake Macedonia made was punished. This is where the goals came from, straight down the middle for France mostly. 6 fast breaks, 5 penalties. Only the right wing stayed quiet. Left back 1 from 6 wasn't excellent. And for Macedonia, only 2 goals coming in from the wing. Most of it going straight down the middle. I can tell you that Nikolic has got the player of the match award for Macedonia. And this, you can see that long spell at the beginning with no goals, and 2 quick goals and another long spell while France scored another 4 goals. It was a killer. And these are the top scorers then. Baudouin with 9 for France, top scoring the game. Nikolic with 6 for Macedonia. That's it then. France have won the opening game. Hope you've enjoyed it. But for now, from me, Paul Bray, thanks for watching and goodbye.